The module of the number will be denoted by two straight vertical dashes. The module of 3 is equal to 3. The module of the opposite three numbers is -3 is also equal to 3. So, the value of the module, or the absolute value of the number, is always a positive number. And the module of 0 is 0. Let's write it a little differently. The module of the number, or the absolute value of the number, will be equal to the number itself, if the number is not negative. And to the opposite number, if the number is negative. Let me remind you that the opposite numbers differ only by a sign. 3 and -3 are opposite numbers. With the first line here, I hope everything is clear. To get the absolute value of a positive number, we just need to discard these straight dashes. What is written in the second line? If the number is negative, we need to put another minus sign in front of the number. For example, to get the module of -3, we need to put another minus sign in front of the number. And discard the module sign. That is, these straight dashes. Minus and another minus is a plus. And the plus sign can be omitted. So, we get the absolute value for -3. Let's look at the number line. Each division here is 1. This point on the line corresponds to -4. And the module of -4 corresponds to the distance from this point to the beginning of the count. The distance here is 4 segments. And 4 is the absolute value for the number -4. Let's choose another point on the line. The distance from this point to the beginning of the count will be equal to 5 segments. And this is equal to the module of 5. So, the module of the number, or the absolute value of the number, is the same. And geometrically, the absolute value of the number will correspond to the distance from the point on the number line to the beginning of the count. Now let's look at the properties of the number module. The first property. The absolute value of the number, or the number module, is always a non-negative value. For example, the module of -7 is 7. And the number itself under the module sign, of course, is less than the value of the number module. If the number under the module is positive, then the number itself will be equal to the value of the module of this number. Therefore, here's the sign more or equal. The second property. The modules of the opposite numbers are equal. The opposite numbers differ only by sign, and here everything is simple. Consider two opposite numbers. And the modules of these numbers will be equal to the same number. So they will be equal to each other. The third property. The number module is always greater than or equal to the number itself. If we have a negative number under the module, then of course, the absolute value will be greater than the number under the module. Since the absolute value of a negative number is a positive number. The absolute value of a positive number is equal to the number itself. Therefore, here is the sign more or equal. The fourth property. A positive multiplier can be taken out under the modulus sign. Consider the most difficult case when x is a negative number. Multiply the number. Multiply the negative number by the positive number. We get -6. the absolute value of this number will be equal to 6. And if you subtract 3 from under the module sign, the product will not change. We also get 6. The fifth property. The modulus of the product of two numbers is equal to the product of the moduli of these two numbers. Everything is very simple here, and on the left and on the right, the result will be a positive number. And the multiplication here will not change anything. The next very similar property. The division will also not affect the result. And on the left and on the right, we will get a positive value. The only thing to consider here is that you cannot divide by 0. And the last property. Module of the sum of two numbers. The sum of the modules of these numbers is always less or equal. Consider the most difficult case when one number is negative, the other is positive. Then in the left part,